Turn off every light around you and imagine total darkness. Not the darkness of a bedroom at night, with a streetlight leaking through the curtains or a phone screen glowing on the nightstand. Actual darkness. No edges, no shapes, nothing to hold on to with your eyes. Most people alive today can go their entire life without truly experiencing that. And when it happens by accident, camping, a power outage, a cave, most of us feel a small flicker of unease and move on with our night. Your ancient ancestors felt something completely different. For them, that same darkness was one of the most dangerous places they would ever stand. And the reason runs far deeper than simply not having a flashlight. The easy explanation is that they just couldn't see. That part is true, as far as it goes. Human eyes are built for daylight. Compared to the animals hunting them, our night vision is almost embarrassingly weak. A lion's eyes gather roughly 6 times more available light than yours, thanks to a reflective layer behind the retina that human eyes don't have at all. So in the dark, the predators could see you clearly. Your ancestors basically couldn't see them at all until it was far too late. But bad eyesight alone doesn't explain the specific, bone-deep dread tied to darkness across nearly every human culture that has ever existed. Poor vision explains inconvenience. It doesn't explain terror. For decades, the standard story of early human evolution cast our ancestors as hunters, dominant, in control, near the top of the food chain almost from the start. In 2005, anthropologists Donna, Hart and Robert Sussman published research that quietly demolished that picture. Studying millions of years of fossil evidence, tooth marks on ancient skulls, talon punctures, bite patterns matching saber-toothed cats exactly, they found early hominins weren't hunting much of anything. They were being hunted constantly by leopards, hyenas, and snakes, among others. Our ancestors show up again and again in the fossil record not as predators, but as prey. And most large cat predation on primates happens specifically after dark, in the one stretch of every single day when humans were at their absolute weakest and least able to see it coming. But that's only half the story. Because knowing your ancestors had every reason to fear the dark doesn't explain something stranger. Why you still feel it. You have never once been stalked by a leopard. You have almost certainly never needed to fear the dark for your survival. Not even once in your entire life. And yet, put you alone in true, total darkness, and something in your chest tightens anyway. Evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse has a name for exactly this kind of leftover fear. The smoke detector principle. Imagine it costs you 100 calories to flee from a sound in the dark. If there's no threat there, you've wasted almost nothing. But if you don't flee, and there is a predator, that single mistake costs you your life. Nesse's math on this is blunt. Even if the real odds of danger are only 1 in 1,000, it is still worth sounding the alarm every single time. Natural selection never built a fear system that's accurate. It built one that's cheap to trigger and catastrophic to ignore. Which means the version of you standing in the dark tonight is running the exact same alarm your ancestors needed to survive, just with almost nothing left in the modern world for it to actually warn you about. This isn't a fear humans invented through stories and superstition, either. Primatologist Lynne Isbell has traced a version of this same threat detection wiring back tens of millions of years, arguing that primates evolved much of their sharp, forward-facing vision specifically to spot predators like snakes before it was too late to react. The circuitry for scanning the dark for danger isn't cultural, and it isn't something you were taught by a scary story as a child. It's older than humans themselves. So the next time a strange sound in the dark makes your heart jump, or you feel that small, irrational urge to get back inside before you can even explain why. That isn't weakness, and it isn't your imagination running away with you. That's an alarm system tens of millions of years old, still faithfully doing its job, with almost nothing left in the modern world to actually protect you from. We spent nearly the entire length of our history as a species surrounded by things that could kill us the moment the sun went down. Then, in the span of only a handful of generations, we filled the night with electric light and quietly assumed the fear would follow the darkness out the door. It didn't. It just went looking for smaller things to worry about instead. So go ahead and turn off every light around you again. That flicker of unease you feel isn't your imagination, and it isn't silly. It's the last surviving passenger from 100,000 generations who genuinely needed it to stay alive. You just happen to be the first one who never actually has to use it.